My name is Tony Sheldon and I'm the Secretary of the Transport Workers Union of Australia and Chair of the International Transport Workers Federation Road Transport Section. As ITF Road Transport Section Chair, I represent hundreds of thousands of truck drivers and other road transport workers in some 150 countries around the world. I speak to you today to express the TWU and the ITF's full support for the national strike announced by the KPTU, Cargo Truckers Solidarity Division, today. This strike is absolutely essential to stop a deadly policy being pursued by the South Korean government, which will worsen the already severe crisis that exists on Korean roads. Already, roughly 1,200 people die in truck crashes in South Korea every year as a result of overloading, speeding, long driving hours and other driving practices that are dangerous due to the pressure of competition and the pressure of clients and their demands on those truck drivers. The government's proposed market reforms will only make the situation much worse. Increasing the number of trucks on the road without limit and allowing poor monitoring of freight contractual arrangements will increase competition, drive down rates which are already low, forcing drivers to drive even longer hours under more dangerous conditions just to be able to feed their families. 20 years of accumulated research, including several reports by the Australian government, demonstrates that such policies will increase dangerous driving practices, ultimately sacrificing more lives, your lives and the lives of many of your friends. The TruckSol strike may cause temporary economic difficulties, but it is entirely warranted. The deadly results of the Korean government, if allowed to continue to move forward, will already put incredible pressure on your lives. The international community is concerned about the deadly problems rampant in the South Korean trucking transport market. At a combined meeting of the safety, health in the road transport sector held by the International Labour Organisation in October 2015, government, employer and worker representatives from around the world took note particularly of pressures on Korean truck drivers to speed, overload and drive long hours due to low, unregulated rates and the GIB system, which enslaves drivers to transport companies and clients at the top of the supply chain. Without justice and fairness, the South Korean government is seeking to introduce an unenforceable guideline rate system, which will even make the rates even lower, rather than the standard rate system they promised in 2009. It also plans to maintain the GIB system with only minor modifications. The ILO, the meeting of employers, government and employee representatives, concluded the regulations are needed to hold clients and large logistics companies accountable for rates, conditions, health and safety in their supply chains. The South Korean government's proposal, is completely opposed to that proposition. These reforms that are pushing will go in the opposite direction of safe roads and fairness and decency for you and your families. It is for these reasons that the TruckSol strike is absolutely necessary. With the strike scheduled, it is likely that truck drivers' right to organise and to strike will become a topic of public debate. But denying owner-drivers' right to form trade unions and to exercise their rights to collective bargaining and to strike, which followed the South Korean government, is again out of step with international standards and direct violations of recommendations by the International Labour Organisation. The International Labour Organisation on several occasions stated that there was a right for self-employed drivers like yourself should have the right to organise, and specifically regarding TruckSol, the ILO recommended that the government ensure that self-employed workers, such as heavy goods vehicle drivers, can fully enjoy trade union rights under Conventions number 87 and 98 for the purpose of furthering and defending their interests. In my own country of Australia, owner-drivers have been long members of the TWU and have bargained and gone on strike together with employee drivers. This is the way it should be. I call on the South Korean government to respect drivers' rights to strike and refrain from the forms of repression we have seen during past TruckSol strikes. I also clearly warn the government that there is a high level of international tension on South Korea right now. Already, the ILO has intervened in an attempt to prevent right abuses against the public sector strike still underway. The international labour community is greatly disappointed that the Korean government has not heeded the ILO warnings and instead treated the railway workers illegally by international standards. The International Transport Federation will continue to work with the ILO to make sure it is fully aware of developments in Korea, including calling on the ILO for intervention in relation to our concerns of repression against the upcoming TruckSol strike. The Korean government can be sure that international pressure will only build if it does not change its ways, respect workers' rights, repeal its planned trucking transport market reforms, and sit down with TruckSol to discuss the implementation of standard rates. Guarantee of trade union rights for owner-drivers and abolition of the jihad system is essential, and we're with you in solidarity. All strength to your strike.